Hello, welcome to our project analysis. My name is Joreen and this is my partner Joe.
Hello.
Hi. Today we'll be discussing about Lentor Central Residences. So before we dive deep into what is this exactly about, let's start off with where exactly is Lentor Central Residences.
Lentor, once a quiet enclave, is now the heart of a significant transformation. With the Lentor MRT station, and we have an integrated development, it presents a blend of a nature-urban convenience, which is set to be a new town. With all this ongoing transformation Lentor is undergoing, all this key growth area is going to strengthen Singapore hub status and create more job opportunities.
So let's see how well connected Lentor is. It's actually sitting at the Thomson East Coast Line and we can actually reach different parts of Singapore within an hour.
After sharing how well connected Lentor is, we need to know who are our competitors and are we late to enter the Lentor area? As many of you are aware that Lentor Central Residences is actually the 6th plot of land that is launching in the Lentor cluster. So do we have an oversupply? Which all this we will share with you shortly.
Now, Lentor Central Residences is actually a high-rise development proudly developed by our very renowned developer, Hong Leong, Guaco Land and our CSC Land Group. We have a total of 477 units in Lentor Central Residences, and of course, we are sitting at a very good land size of 158,263 square feet. Now, a fun fact about Lentor Central Residences is that it's actually proudly sitting on the highest vantage point of our Hilllock Park, offering us a very unparalleled elevations of breathtaking views. So now let's take a look of our site plan. And it actually have a north-south facing, and we have two blocks consist of a good unit mix of 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedders. And we actually, very interestingly, we have 4 side gates in this development, one linking to the Hilllock Park, one sheltered all the way to the MRT, and one at the main entrance, and of course one linking to our park connector. And again, in here, we could see that we have, in fact, in just a very mid-sized development, we have a 3 swimming pool.
We have a 50-meter infinity pool, then we have a leisure pool, and we also have a 25-meter lap pool. And not forgetting, a lot of people's favorite, we have the tennis court.
Right. And of course, on the 14th floor, we actually have our sky terrace, and of course, a roof garden with 2 BBQ pits. So Joe and I will find that with just a very mid-sized development, the developer did a good job in giving a very good thought on
in
this.
designing this whole project. Now let's look at the one-bedder. So in Lentor Central Residences, we have 2 types of one-bedder, the 1A and 1B. Both of them are size 463 square feet, 2 stacks. So the only difference is actually the placement of the fridge. So you can see that for 1A, the fridge is over here, whereas for type 1B, the fridge is located over here. So as for the layout-wise, they are pretty standard. So 1 bedroom, once you enter, you have the kitchenette, and then after that, the living and dining area followed by the master bedroom. Both of them are currently facing the empty plot right now, but we are thinking that Stack 11, which is the type 1A, might be the premium block because it's also facing the pool. So next, we have the type 1C. This is actually a 1 bed, 1 bath. But the sad news is that they only have 2 units and they are both located on the ground floor. But the good thing is that the whole Lentor cluster is only Lentor Central Residences, and the Lentor Hill Residences got this kind of layout 1+ study. Because they only got 2 units, so you got to be very lucky to get a good balloting number in order to get this layout.
So now let's take a look at our case study and see how our 1 bedroom profit going to be, or even the yield that we're expecting in the Lentor region.
So you can see that Lentor Central Residences actually has a smaller 1 bedroom compared to most 1-bedder in the market. Hence, we wanted to find out whether the size affect the rental yield. Therefore, we did a study on this particular project, Affinity at Serangoon, whereby they have a few sizes of the 1-bedder. For instance, for this example, we took the smallest 1 bedroom, which is a 474 square feet. The rental that they got was 2,850, and they bought it at 797,500. So that effectively gave them a yield of 4.29%. Versus slightly bigger unit that is 538 square feet, is rented out at 3,100, and they bought it at 930,000, and that only gave them a yield of 4%. So from this, we actually understand that the smaller it is, the better the yield. So In fact, we think that for Lentor Central Residences, the 1-bedroom is a very good size. Next, let's look at the 1-bedroom supply in the Lentor area. So from this, you can actually see that we don't have a lot of 1-bedders nearby the Lentor area. You can see that we only have Seasons Park, which is a very old condo, and also Meadows at Pierce and Panorama that has a 1-bedder. The rest of the other surrounding projects are all 2-bedders onwards. So when we extend the area slightly further to the Bishan area, you can also see that only the gardens at Bishan and Thomson Impression has the 1-bedder. So from an investment standpoint, do you think it makes sense to enter or even buy a 1-bedroom as an investment in the Lentor Central Residences? So let's take a look at Panorama, and why we choose this project as an example is because it's one of the newer projects and it's in the Ang Mo Kio area, whereby it is very close to Lentor. So their estimated rental averagely is 2,950 for their 1-bedroom. So we actually did a price matrix for the 1-bedder over at Lentor Central Residences. So if we take the estimated 2050 PSF at estimated rental at 3,000, that will give you a estimated yield of 3.8%. If unfortunately your balloting number is not that great, and you only get to buy something that is on the higher floor and it may be around 2,500 PSF. So let's take the purchase price to be 1.157500, estimated rental to be 3,000. That will still give you a rental yield of 3.1%, which is still quite decent. Yeah. Alright, next we have the 2-bedder analysis. So for Lentor Central Residences, the 2-bedroom all comes with 2 baths. We have 3 layout, 2A, 2B, 2C. 2A and 2C are dumbbell layout, which is pretty similar, except that one of them, which is 2A is stack 10. It faces an empty plot now, and it also faces the swimming pool. And what I like about Lentor Central Residences is that it all comes with an enclosable kitchen, and it has a very wide dining area and living area. So if you compare with the current 2-bedrooms in the market right now, a lot of them are all open concept kitchen, whereas for Lentor Central Residences, all the 2-bed, 2-bath comes with an enclosable kitchen. And the good thing about Lentor Central Residences, they have a traditional layout, and usually traditional layout are bigger in size. But in Lentor Central Residences, they are able to do a traditional layout just slightly bigger at 689 square feet. Only one stack 18, which is also facing an empty plot right now, but also a pool facing. So next, we have the 2-bed plus study. So the layout-wise, they are actually very similar. The size is 786 square feet and 797 square feet. So the only difference is actually at the foyer area, which is very minimum, and also the placement of the study area. So anyone that visited the show flat or is planning to view the show flat must take a look at this 2-bed plus study, because you will be very impressed with the configuration and the layout of this 2-bed plus study. And actually we are also thinking that the study area can actually fit a small single bed. But take note, the 2-bed plus study is actually the size of a 3-bedroom compact for the Lentor Mansion. And the reason that the Lentor Mansion is able to squeeze out a 3-bedroom compact or the size of 786 is because it's a dumbbell layout. But the good thing is that all the 3 bedrooms are able to fit a queen-size bed, which means that no doubt this Lentor Central Residences 2-bed plus study is a very nice layout, but in terms of exiting, it may be harder to exit as compared to the Lentor Mansion. Next, we did a comparison with the surrounding projects, and we eliminate some of them because one look from the layout, you know that they don't even have an enclosable kitchen. For the Lentor Mansion, Lentoria, and also the Hillock Green, you can see that they are all open concept kitchen, which we feel that in terms of layout, Lentor Central Residences had already stand out. Putting side by side, the one that are comparable would be Lentor Modern and also Lentor Hill Residences. But take note, both the other two projects are fully sold. Let's just discuss a bit more on their layout. So for Lentor Modern, size is 678 square feet. For this size, they are able to squeeze out a flexi room, which we felt that is actually quite good. But the downside is that they only have one bath. So for Lentor Hill Residences, enclosable kitchen and 2-bed, 2-bath, which is very similar to Lentor Central Residences, which is also why we felt that if the other two projects are being transacted at 1.35 to 1.67, so for Lentor Central Residences, if you are able to enter anything below this, is actually quite attractive to enter. Assuming that if you buy something that is 1.4 million right now, 3 years later, if you were to sell at 1.6, will you be able to exit out safely?
Okay, now let's take a look at the bigger floor plates units, right? We have the 3 and 4 beders. In 3 beders, we have 2 different layouts. One is the 3-bedroom compact and one is the 3-bedroom premium. But let's start with the 3-bedroom compact first and see what is interesting about this layout. At stack 7 and stack 12, we have our 915 square feet. I like it that it's at the corner. Of course, at stack 7, we are currently unblocked, and of course at the stack 12, we are actually facing the pool. What we do like about this layout is that you can see that we have a lot of windows in this area. You can see in the kitchen, we can see at the alley walkway, at the master toilets. And one thing we really love to point out is that currently it's quite rare to have a glass panel at the kitchen. If you can imagine, the whole unit is going to be very bright and windy, well ventilated. Hence, we felt that the developer did a very great job in our 3-bedroom compact. Again, I'd like to point out is, of course, there is this little store there. It's not very huge, but I think it's going to help a lot of us to tuck away, unsightly things, and this little space that actually makes a difference for a small family. Since there are so many projects around the Lentor region, we went into looking at the surrounding projects of the floor plans to see whether Lentor Central Residences are actually well planned. Hence, we definitely eliminated some, and of course some we chosen that which is quite comparable to Lentor Central. Let's look at the one that we didn't really like, which is the Hulot Green and of course the Lentorial. Why we eliminate or we didn't like Hulot Green is also because the kitchen is actually a solid wall panels, and hence it will be darker compared to Lentor Central region. And if you look at Lentorial, the kitchen is not even enclosable, hence it's not very favorable to us that we find. Now let's look at the comparable layouts with Lentor Central Residences. If you look at Lentor Modern, the kitchen is enclosable, but it's just that they have solid wall panels between it, hence it will be slightly darker. In Lentor Hills, the layout is very similar. It's just that it's being blocked by the DB box. And again, in Lentor Mansion wise, the kitchen has no door open, but again, it has this flexi room. So in these 3 layouts, the price transacted in the region, the lowest was actually from 1.822. And again, with such a nice bright layout in Lentor Central Residence, so if we could get below 2.1, we felt that the sweet spot is that you can seriously consider the 915 square feet. Next, let's look at the 3-bedroom premium. The 3-bedroom premium is as good as the 915 square feet. With this, they actually squeezed out a yard, WC, and of course, household shelter lah. And then of course, what are the facing in the 1076 square feet? They are both pool facing. So there's not much difference over here. But again, what we like to highlight is that because the 3-bedroom premium and later we go to the 4-bedroom compact, we realize that the difference of these 2 layouts is very minimal. It's about a difference of like 108 square feet. And if you take into price point factor considerations, maybe when your ballot queue is good, you tend to have a better positions to actually compare. Does it make more sense to go to the 3-bedroom premium or the 4-bedroom compact? Just imagine, okay, so because the 4-bedroom compact is 1184 square feet and the 3-bedroom premium is 1076, okay, so of a 108 square feet difference, let's say that because it's a bigger size layout, the differences let's take as a 2001 PSF. The top up of difference is actually 226800, and for that we actually have one more bedroom for the 4-bedroom compact. With this, the difference is only actually for a 5% cash. Our top up is about 11,000, and our monthly installment could be as low as 51 all the way to about 780 based on a 3.5% interest and a 30 years tenure loan amount. So this is one thing you like to take note of when you are considering a 3-bedroom premium actually. Again, here has a glass panel, and then the windows are all over in the bedrooms, the toilets, and they're actually all very good sized bedrooms. Okay, now let's look at our 4-bedders. So as just now we were sharing with you, the 4-bedder compact is about 1184 square feet. Of course, at stake 8 and 13, there's no much difference in the facing. And then what again we will really like to give the developer credit on such detailed thinking of this layout. At this 1184 square feet, they actually managed to create a proper kitchen with a yard, WC, and a household shelter. And what we really love about this 4-bedroom compact is that they actually have a walk-in closet. Okay, it is very, very rare in a harmonized project currently. And again, you do see that stack 8 and 13, there's a slight difference. Stack 8, we actually have the walk-in closet, and the stack 13 over here is a longer, a wider area for you to have your wardrobe in. Other than that, there's nothing much. Again, for 1184 square feet, we all also feel that it's a very, very good entry price. Example, let's say a 1184, if we are talking about a 2002 PSF, right? What is the kind of price that we will be having to actually purchase a 4-bedder over here? Okay, so at just about 2.6, we'll actually be able to get a 4-bedroom compact in Lentor Central Residences. Now let's look at our 4-bedroom premium of 1399 square feet. It's at stack 3 and 16. Currently, it's unblocked and apart facing. This is actually one of my favorite layout in Lentor Central region because of the wide frontage of about 5.35 meter, and it's a landscape mode. The living area can actually be flush with the balcony, which actually make it look very spacious and bright. And of course, this layout also have 2 storerooms. There's one right at the entrance and actually one at the yard area. This layout makes it very sensible because if you actually have a helper, if either one of the storeroom that she's staying inside, we still have one more storage area to keep our things and tuck it nicely and neatly in our house. Again, right, what is the difference between the 4-bedroom premium and the 4-bedroom compact is that if you realize that we have 3 bathrooms over here, so actually the bedroom, there's one of it share with the Jack and Jill. We actually have a junior master over here. Let's look at our surrounding projects for the 4-bedroom premium. Okay, so for Lentoria and Lentor Mansion, we actually eliminate out because the living area it is actually a portrait mode, so we didn't show it in this slide. What we want to compare is actually the Hillock Green and the Lentor Hill Residences. Of course, they are both in the landscape mode, but Hillock Green has slightly a smaller one at 4.9 and our Lentor Hill has a slightly wider at 5.5. Ours is 5.35. Lentor Hill and Central is very, very similar where they have 2 stores over here. And in Lentor Hill Residences, it actually has a total of 16 units. And then over here, we actually have about 56 units in Lentor Central. A fun fact to share with you guys is that during the launch of Lentor Hill Residences, this layout was actually the first to be sold out. In fact, through these actions, we can see that this kind of layout is actually very, very well liked by our buyers because of the openness, the spaciousness that we are getting. And usually people who are looking at 4-bedroom, they like this kind of luxurious feel. Again, so to conclude, if you're thinking on a 4-bedder, a 4-bedroom compact and 4-bedroom premium, if you are more price sensitive, definitely 1184 square feet, the price actually makes sense for us to invest in a 4-bedder. However, if you do have the budget, feel free, consider about this 4-bedroom premium because we felt that even though if you were to resale in the future, you do not have much competitor. But again, just one quick sharing is that no matter which layout you choose, the 4-bedroom premium or the 4-bedroom compact, in terms of return of ROI, it actually has not much difference. Hence, we have come to the end of our video
Analysis. Lastly, we extend our best wishes for a successful purchase during the launch and hope you get a good ballot number so that you can secure your desirable unit at a very good price. But should you require any assistance with regards to unit selection, financial planning or timeline coordination, please feel free to contact me or Jareen. If you like our sharing, please like and subscribe and share with all your friends. So see you at our next project analysis. Bye!